Conclusion. I have often used the words awareness and focus in this book. They are related to consciousness and are very important to our emotional well-being. Every exercise in this book is designed to increase consciousness to help facilitate emotion management. In 1931, the founder of quantum theory, physicist Max Planck, stated, "I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as a derivative from consciousness." Why? Perhaps it is because of the discovery of what is known as the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics. The electron, part of the atom, is a wave when unobserved and a particle when observed. This isn't limited to electrons. It includes photons, light, and other particles. If this is your introduction to wave-particle duality, your head might be blown or spinning about now. Mine did at first. While this doesn't align with how we observe the world, it is very important when you consider that the universe and all its inhabitants are made of atoms, and atoms contain these particles. It also helps me to better understand the connection of how all our sensory signals are waves of input we turn into reality. Is observation the same as consciousness? Many in the physics realm will say consciousness has nothing to do with changing a particle to a wave, even though Nobel-winning physicist Planck seemed to indicate this in his quote. I find this aversion to include consciousness interesting, since nobody has been able to correctly identify what consciousness is, so how can it be ruled out? Perhaps the reason is the high emotions around disassociating physics from the idea of a quote, new age consciousness field, unquote, as one astrophysicist put it. However, right now, experiments are taking place that show the quantum effects in the brain might explain consciousness. Thank goodness we have people like Anil Seth, Mark Solms, Christoph Koch, Jack Tuzinski, Simona Ginsberg, Eva Jablonic, and many others who are fervently working on discovering what consciousness is. What I observe to be true is that consciousness, the quality of being aware, can change who we are and how we think, believe, behave, and sense the world around us. Conscious awareness influences our perceptions and molds our experiences. Our experiences are memories used as the recipe for future responses to similar events. Our level of awareness and the target of our focus play heavily into the construction of our emotions. Also, how we label our emotion recipes is a great determiner of how we feel. Some social media groups interview the average person on the street and ask them for advice. The one I follow is Dose of Society. I'm unsure if they performed this interview as the post was uncredited, but I thought the words and wisdom from this 96-year-old man were beautiful. When asked, what life advice would you give people? He chuckled and said the following, "Well, I don't like going back because there's nothing you can do about the past. I would say accept where you are at, move on, and try to be in the present. You have gratitude for what you have. Have compassion and accept what is. And if you can change it, okay. But there are some things that you accept that you can't change. And if you can't change it, let it go. Be who you are, and people will like you." I have heard similar advice from others in their 80s and 90s. How we feel is a choice, our choice. We can't change the past, but we can attempt to direct the future. Notice the exercise to uncover hidden recipes didn't focus on specific events, but on perceptions. What actions make you feel a certain way? Yes, it relates to experiences, but not the entire event or a single one. If we focus on the past and continually see the world through that lens, we keep it alive as a well-traveled path in our brains. Our perceptions of people and situations might be filtered narrowly by these memories, maybe missing out on the more extraordinary things in life like joy, love, and peacefulness. Some of our recipes might have been handed to us without choice, such as abuse, neglect, and abandonment. Harrowing memories may never go away, but we can attempt to move through them, potentially reframing them. remove some of the heat by adding ingredients to soften them, just like adding honey to a hot pepper reduces the intensity. This could include creating boundaries for behaviors and environments that are emotionally unhealthy. In some cases, it could be forgiveness. It can be tough to do, yet very powerful. What I'm encouraging is an attempt to construct a better life for ourselves and potentially for future generations. The concept of having recipes in your brain that are cooked by our chef and served to the body for us to taste does not fully encompass what goes on in the body, nor was this my intention. The goal was to provide you ways to connect to your feelings, whether I'm tired or I'm sad, by increasing interoceptive awareness. I also want you to see feelings as something you can deconstruct and reconstruct, just like your favorite recipe that mom used to make. Most of all, our perceptions and emotions are not always correct. We can get them wrong based on the conditions in the kitchen. But if we develop granularity and more detailed recipes, we can potentially increase our chances of reducing prediction errors in the future. Questioning our fears and anxieties and tracking their truthfulness can help combat these potentially fatal emotions. They create chemical cocktails in our bodies designed for running away from real bears, not the Care Bears we can make up in our minds. We can remix those cocktails with conscious thought, producing more of the feel-good chemicals and at the same time keeping our immune systems healthier. As emotions go, so does the immune system, and the body follows. Fear and faith are both a belief in the unknown, an outcome not yet realized. Faith's expectation is hopeful. Fear's expectation is frightful. If they both are based on the unknown, why not opt for hope? To solely focus on mental health misses the other pieces of the puzzle. Managing thoughts is essential, as is managing our diet, exercise, and developing self-awareness. Creating recipes, rather than always letting the world design them for us, is a tool for developing critical thinking skills and building self-confidence. Leaning into opposing views rather than dismissing them is a great way to develop better listening and communication abilities, along with compassion, respect, and humility. After all, none of us are always correct. As I have often said, the brain is a prediction machine that can be wrong. This is why awareness is so critical. Best-selling trauma research author Bessel van der Kolk stressed this point in this quote. Self-regulation depends on having a friendly relationship with your body. Without it, you have to rely on external regulation from medication, drugs like alcohol, constant reassurance, or compulsive compliance with the wishes of others. Agency is the sense that you have control over what you feel in life. It is self-confidence in your ability to handle various situations and yet remain flexible because of your self-awareness. You can influence your thoughts and behaviors with intention, just like a chef curates the menu their kitchen creates. We can't forget that emotions influence everything around us. Understanding our connection to all things living is essential. We need the world, and the world needs us. Think about the relationship with a tree. Without them, we have no oxygen and die. They utilize our carbon dioxide. There are many examples of interdependence, but the greatest one is how much we need other people. Humans and animals alike prefer to be around those who make them feel good for a reason. Love is the universal recipe we can't live without. When my husband and I go to the movies, we like to stay through to the last credit. I think about the person who participated in the production, even if in a small way, who is so proud to be listed but finds their name posted last. I want that person to feel appreciated and acknowledged. It might sound silly, but I do this by thanking them by name out loud right there in the theater. I want to do similarly for you. You made it to the end of my book. I wish to acknowledge this and tell you how much I appreciate you taking your valuable time to read it or listen to it. The problem is, how do I do this? When the executive chef speaks to other chefs in a kitchen, they reply, "Yes, chef," a call out and a sign of respect. If you respond, "Yes, chef," on one of my social posts, I will reply, "Thank you, chef," as a sign of appreciation for you.